Please put your hands together for Jack and Gokcen.
Check 1, 2.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your precious time before lunch. We're just going to set up so we can do some technical demos. Just use this one. Even better. So while we're just getting set up, just for a quick bit of context, my name is Jack. I'm a partner at the Brand Tech Group, and it's an enormous privilege to have Gokcen on stage with me today. Gokcen, you want to give a quick intro?
Hi, I'm Gokcen Karaca. I'm working for Pernod Ricard, head of digital. Fortunate enough to work a very creative and technologically savvy partner, Jack.
And we should have slides right now. Perfect timing. So today we have 15 minutes. We're going to talk about something a little more in the future, necessarily in retail media. We're going to talk about how large language models are increasingly changing the path to purchase. And today we're going to focus on something we call share of model. So just as you track your share of voice, your share of market, and your share of search, understanding how these large language models think about your brands will increasingly determine your share of market. So I'm going to spend 5 minutes, some brief context, and Gokcen and I are going to jump in the platform and show you around. We believe as a company that the way people find brands and choose products is fundamentally changing. Now, if you think about the 4 models you can see on the slide here, you've got Google's Gemini as the natural evolution of search. 1.5 billion people see the recommendations that Gemini generates every single month in 100 different countries. It's present in 15 different Google products with 500 million monthly active users each. So think of the influence of that one model. Next along, you've got Meta AI, 700 million monthly active users, learning from the content that we share across Meta's family of apps, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp. You have Amazon's Rufus, a smaller model, best estimates around 40 million monthly active users, but incredibly influential because it's the last thing you check before you check out on Amazon. And then last but not least, you have OpenAI, 500 million weekly active users. Incredibly influential, of course, not just as future of a search engine, but a lot of retailers and publishers use that model to create content for their own readers and customers. We want to understand how people interact with these models, because they're not just productivity tools. So we commissioned research from YouGov, starting in the US, and here you can see when we ask Americans, do you use AI services like ChatGPT or Gemini to make a recommendation about a brand or a product? 2/3 of Americans under 24 said they did. So I think the best way to think about these models is not as a chatbot, but as the ultimate influencer. How these models think about your brand will determine which products they recommend, which will determine your share of market. And just because it's before lunch and we all make sure you're paying attention, we're going to freak you out even more, because we're going to talk about the evolution of that with the agentic web, which in that case, think about the agents that are going to be browsing and buying on your behalf. This is like a web crawler with a credit card. So you've got Amazon's Buy For Me, where an agent will leave Amazon to look at another retailer to fetch that product for you. Or you've got OpenAI's Operator, where it will research the web so you don't have to visit those websites. Those agents will be powered by these models. So understanding how they think becomes existential for every marketer, which is why I'm going to do a seamless transition right now into a live demonstration. And Gokcen, this is your opportunity as one of the first marketers in the world to embrace this, and certainly I'd say one of the best marketers when it comes to applying it.
Thank you very much for your kind words. You are so generous. We started our journey about a year ago. We have a partnership with Jellyfish in Pernod Ricard for a very, very long time. We've been working with Brand Tech Group on many occasions, and the partnership is yielding its results. And I'm Gokcen Karaca. I'm responsible from the whiskey portfolio of the group, the innovation part, and also digital and the creative, which very nicely, this product nicely fits into our remit, because we are creating so many assets, so many content, deploying it so many places. What was lacking in the new world that we were living in, where I'm just thinking about myself, I'm going into chatbots, asking to ChatGPT, going to Claude, Sonnet, or whichever it might be. Even my 5-year-old son is asking questions about, hey, can we please check that with ChatGPT? I think that this is just what's happening now, and before we decide on buying something, you go and try to at least maybe not you, all of us, but most of us go to those places and ask the question about the product that you are planning to purchase, and you give your preferences about the product, and it goes and comes up with a list. So we have done this for our products, for the whiskey portfolio, and what we are seeing in every single model. This is actually, there are more models in the platform that we are, like, you guys are very nicely constantly updating all of the models that are coming in, but we are after to be able to manage the perception of our brands within these models. And how do we do it? We put our brand attributes into the models and understand how the models are representing our brands when someone asks a question. And with the reports, with the reports, and also with the insights that we get from the platform, we create content and deploy them to the relevant places where models are reading this information from. For example, Llama, Meta's AI, is reading it from Instagram and Facebook or some other platforms that they own, whereas Amazon Rufus is reading it from Amazon. So there is no one-size-fits-all, and depending on where we want to play, we are creating the right content that is going to make a change on the perception of the perception on the model for our brand, so it lists our brands in the way that we desire. We are not trying to rig the game here. We are trying to share with the world that what our brands should be presented like. We are just trying to correct some of the wrong things that we have seen. I can give a quick example on a brand that we own, Ballantine's whiskey. Ballantine's is a premium product, a price range between 20 to 27 for the entry line. And what we have seen, it was classified as a premium, the prestige product, not a premium. And also this was a bit of a problem, because then we are representing our brand in the LLMs in a wrong way. And we took the relevant actions, and not hopefully, we managed to fix it, but we have identified so many of our other brands, and this is becoming a great workflow. And also with the information that we are getting, I think you have it now there, it's the optimize all of the content also that we are putting out, like for our briefs. Everything is influenced with the platform right now, and it opened a totally different perspective to us. Thank you, Jack.
No, thank you. All I did was click around. That was all you. So I do think that's a good place to pull it back together, because we believe as a company, every asset you publish is now a brief to someone else's model. So exactly as Gokcen was talking about, the ability to take these insights, translate them into a brief to create content that a model will recognize as more relevant to its next recommendation is really not just the natural evolution of SEO. As you were talking about, it's a key part of branding, because you have to ensure that these models are aligned with the kind of brand you want to be, to ensure you're winning on the kind of queries and recommendations that are going to define you as prestige or premium. So practically, as said, this platform allows you to understand how these models think about your brand, the kind of keywords and terms they associate with you, generate the kind of content that you can make sure will influence it, and then to just pick on an example from another brand to show you just how precise these models are. We work with a fashion brand in this case. They uploaded a recent catalog. You can see here that Gemini thought it scored particularly poorly on sustainability. And if you look through our analysis, this is feedback from Gemini that's saying, well, specifically, the model in that catalog is wearing a puffer jacket. And based on my training data and understanding of the world, puffer jackets most often have synthetic fibers. So I don't think that's necessarily a sustainable product I'd recommend to someone interested in it. So every single pixel counts when it comes to convincing these models that your brand is best. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. Very swift navigation on the desktop. And in that case, I'm just going to talk about 3 things we believe that matter to every marketer, and then it'll be great to hear 3 things you're most excited about as well. From our point of view, this is an existential set of insights. If you don't understand how these models think about your brand, you'll never be able to grow your share of market because you won't even be in the consideration set. Every asset you publish is now a brief to someone else's model. So you have to understand what it's communicating to them. And to Gokcen's point about where these models learn from and understanding what kind of brand you want to be, the entire web right now is in open play to understand where your content should be, so someone's model or someone's agent will recognize it when they're completing a task. But what are you most excited about next?
I'm very excited about using the platform even more to start with. Second, the second part, of course, like creating the right assets, because like we are under scrutiny, like the marketing spend significantly. We need to squeeze the lemon hard. That's number 1. So it brings efficiency, yet it is I'm able to connect it to other platforms via the agents that we have been talking about, and make the system automatic to create the assets that is necessary that needs to go in there. That's step 2. And step 3, hopefully we will be able to automatize all of the workflow here, and just an OK button is going to do the job. And of course, managing the perception of our brands in LLMs, that's given. We talked about that. It's already very exciting for us.
I'll get to work on the OK button after lunch. Thank you so much, everyone.